Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're checking out the second episode of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. This episode takes place on a new planet introduced called Dayu. I think overall this planet is really nice looking. It's got this very urban feel, but also an underground criminal feel, and I think those two elements are blended nicely here. We also are introduced to a new character called Haja, I think, and he is basically this con man pretending to be a Jedi. I thought that this character was decent. I didn't really have any big issues with him. He had some humor to the episode in places and pushes the plot along. That being said, I didn't find this character to be too memorable, but again, no big issues. There's a brief scene towards the start where Obi-Wan sees a homeless clone trooper. I thought this was a very interesting scene because it just kind of shows how these clone troopers have been pushed aside, and also there's the chance that Obi-Wan might have recognized this clone trooper since he was from the 501st. We do see more of the Inquisitors in this episode. Again, I think it's kind of a mixed bag. The Grand Inquisitor has some lines that just come off as very cringe and I think aren't the best suited for the live-action format. The fifth brother is decent. I think the same goes for him, but to a much lesser extent. And then there's Reva, who I think, on the other hand, is pretty strong. I like how this show characterizes her as someone who wants to get power by finding Kenobi. And we do see her seemingly kill the Grand Inquisitor. There's been a lot of debate as to whether he's actually dead, and I think the answer is very obviously no. He does come back in Star Wars Rebels, and characters in Star Wars have survived much worse. So yeah, he's definitely not dead. It was, though, a surprise for them to have her impale him. Can't say I saw that coming. I also enjoyed the scene where the Grand Inquisitor spins the lightsaber around and kills the bounty hunter. Really quite a gruesome scene if you think about it. Much of this episode focuses on Obi-Wan and Leia together. I think generally their interactions are really well done, but I do have to say there's stuff that happens in this episode which I just find myself thinking, how did this happen? Particularly Leia just escaping and running on the roofs comes off as very unbelievable. In my opinion, one of the strongest scenes in this episode is when Obi-Wan remarks that Leia reminds her of Padme. Really strong scene. Obviously the show is about the aftermath of Anakin's downfall, but I also like how at times the show addresses grief related to Padme's death. Anyways, towards the end of the episode, Reva drops the bombshell that Anakin is in fact Vader, and I think Ewan's acting is great here. I love the feeling of dread and horror that we see on Ben's face when he finds this out. I am a bit confused as to why Obi-Wan thought Vader died, because Vader is a pretty well-known enforcer of the Empire, I thought, and I guess it's believable since Obi-Wan had really cut himself off from pretty much everything, but it is a bit confusing. On the other hand, it is implied that Reva knows because she either witnessed Vader at the temple or she found out through the archive somehow. It does seem like she was probably a former Jedi, and I think this explanation works, but I wish this implication was made a bit more clear. The final scene of this episode shows Vader without his mask in a tank, and it's a very ominous scene. I really like the music here. And also, I want to shout out the Obi-Wan theme that plays in the credits. Really an incredible piece of music here by the legend himself, John Williams. Episode 2 is pretty strong. Not as good as episode 1, I'd say, but this episode will still get an 8.5 out of 10 from me. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, share with anyone, whenever you know. Share your thoughts on part 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I'll see you guys next time.